Morning children, welcome to the class. So in the last class we were learning about the rise of the China dynasty, that is Tang dynasty, then the Sung dynasty, the fall of Sung dynasty, then the coming up of the Yuan dynasty, then finally with Ming dynasty, and about Japan we learnt. And today we shall learn about the rise of Islamic empires and how the religion of Islam came into existence. See, when we talk of the religion of Islam, Prophet Muhammad was a person who established the religion of Islamism. He just gave the message that the message of equality and brotherhood among all the people who lived in Arab. And in Arab itself, there were so much of small divisions, okay, who belonged to the tribal category of people, but all the people, many people were following the Islamic religion, and they were also widespread among the country of Arab. And the birthplace of Muhammad, okay, and his followers, later on they moved to the city of Yathrib. Okay, the people who followed Prophet Muhammad and who started preaching the religion of Islamism, they with followers, Prophet Muhammad, he moved to the city called as Yathrib. And the movement or the flight of Muhammad, that is the movement of Prophet Muhammad from Mecca in the year 622 AD, it was called as the flight of Muhammad. It was called as Hijrah. It was called as Hijrah in Arabic language, which means it is almost a religious pilgrimage journey which was named as Hijrah. And in the honor of him coming to Yathrib, okay, he renamed the city to Medinat Nabi, with the city of the Prophet. So this city was later on, this Yathrib city was later on renamed as Medina ut Nabi, and this is in present day, this is called as Medina. Okay, this city is called as Medina. This is the present name of this city. And after this Hijrat, Hijrat is a religious journey or religious pilgrimage rather. Prophet Muhammad, he died 10 years later than that. That is 622, he took up that journey, and he died in the year 632. And by that time, there was unity. The Arab itself was consolidated, and the Arabs, they became a very powerful empire. And let us learn about Arabian, the people who all succeeded him. Abu Bakr and Omar, these people succeeded Prophet Muhammad, and they were called as caliphs. Caliphs means leader. In Arabic language, the word caliph, it could be spelt as Khalif or Caliph. It could be spelt in either way. It means religious leader or a reader or a leader who is the ultimate person. Okay, these both people, they laid the foundation for the Islamic empire rather, which in later on it flourished to a greater extent. Now, these Arabs, they defeated both the Roman Empire and even the Persian kings, which was called as a Sassanid dynasty, which the king of Persia and the Roman Empire, the eastern part of the Roman Empire, was also defeated by the Arabian kings Abu Bakr and Omar, who were the caliphs then. And the city of the holy city of Christians and the Jews was Jerusalem, and it was won by the Arabs. And not only the city of Jerusalem was won by Arabs, the whole part of Spain, Persia, everything came under the control of the Arabian Empire. Now, Islam, they started advocating simplicity. In Islamic religion, there was no much of religious followings. Okay, the religion itself was known for its simplicity and equality. That is, all are equal before God. You don't have to practice any rituals, religious rituals, okay, to become but in Christianity, they followed so much of religious sacraments and all. This was not at all there in Islamism. So many of the people, they were moved, or they were impressed by these two ideas of Islamism, that is simplicity and equality. All was considered as equal before Allah. These two principles extended or took away the religion of Islam to a widespread region all over the world. And as such, the Arabs, they conquered the places of Morocco and Africa, and they even crossed Europe, and they took major part of Spain, and it was ruled for almost hundreds of years. Spain was under the control of Islamic Empire. And the Arabs, no, till they were largely, they were nomads only. Okay, they were nomads from the deserts, and then they became mighty rulers. Okay, they were ruling for years together, and they were called as Saracens. How were they called as? They were called as Saracens, the people who hailed from the desert region. They were called as Saracens. Next is the birth of Sunni and Shia sect. See, in Islamism itself, there were two types of sects. Sects means divisions. There were two divisions in Islamic religion. One division was called as Sunni Muslims. The other was called as Shia Muslims. This is the Sunni Muslims. No, they according to them, the head of the Islamic State was the successors of the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, they were elected by the people, and after Prophet Muhammad, the next prophet was elected by the representatives who formed the religious body. All people were the believers of Prophet Muhammad. So if one person is representing from among their group, that person will be the next prophet. Such was the practice of the Sunni Muslims. On the other hand, there was one more other division called as Shia. This sect, they were literally opposite opposite to the Sunni Muslims. Okay, here according to them, the prophet should be the person who is related blood-wise or by marriage-wise. He should be a person who is a blood relative of the existing prophet. That person only should become the next successor of the the Islamic religion. This type of principle, or selecting the next prophet, was followed by Shia Muslims. This was the difference between the two divisions in Islamism. Next is the rule of Umayyads. You could either call it as Umayyads or Umayyads. The dynasty of Umayyads, how did it branch out? See, the caliphs were called as, the kings were called as the caliph, the religious kings. They belonged to the branch of Muhammad's family. Okay, Prophet Muhammad's family, they were called as Umayyads. Okay, they were ruling almost for 100 years, they were ruling. During that time, Damascus was the capital of Arab. And they developed a new style of architecture. They constructed the mosque, and the tomb, like the mosque was constructed in the form of a tomb, where it will be almost a semicircle shape will be on the top, and it was constructed with good amount of architectural skills. Pillars were there in the mosque, and minarets were there, domes all were there. All these, it was almost a blend of Indian architecture and Islamic architecture. This was known as Saracenic architecture. It was called as what? Saracenic architecture. And the Muslim Arabs, no, they carried out Islam. They took Islamism to a far extent. And there were also fight at distant places. The Arabs at home, in their country itself, in Arabia itself, there was so much of quarreling among them. And what happened was, there was quarrel between the son of Muhammad and the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad. The Ali was the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad's son was Hussein. He was murdered by his son-in-law, and the Umayyads, the followers of Ali, who was the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, those people were collectively called as Abbasids. Okay, so with that, the Umayyad dynasty came to an end. The Umayyad dynasty means Prophet Muhammad was leading and his son Hussein was coming after him. This was called as Umayyad dynasty. This Umayyad dynasty was overthrown by the Abbasids dynasty. And Prophet Muhammad's uncle was called as Abbas, and his followers were called as Abbasids. And how long did this Abbasids rule? See, the Abbasids, they gave themselves the title as commander of faith. Okay, commander of the faithful. And the Abbasid Caliph, no, they had all the authority like any other emperor. And they the Abbasids tried to rival the old empires in splendor. The capital, which was Damascus, was the previous capital. Now it was shifted to Baghdad in Iraq. Now let us learn about the city of Baghdad. The city of Baghdad, you might have learned in English, Arabian Nights. Okay, it was a vast city. It was full of palaces. Okay, huge building, palatial palaces, and more of public offices was located only in Baghdad. Baghdad is known for schools and colleges, and more number of shops, parks, gardens, everything was there in Baghdad. So it was one of the important cities where trade and commerce developed in the east as well as from the, so traders from the east as well as from the west, they used to come for trading in Baghdad, and the visitors came to Baghdad from all around the world, and especially learned men and students and artists, all of them. The hub was the Baghdad was almost the hub for architecture, artists, students, learning, and also for trade and commerce. This was the importance of the city of Baghdad. Next is Arab scholarly pursuit. See, when you take the Umayyad dynasty, these people, they were more so concentrating on how to extend their Islamic power to the other religions. But these Abbasids people, no, they did not attempt in conquering more areas of land. Rather, they gave more importance for bringing all their captured land into under one head. They wanted to consolidate everything, that is bring everything together, and they gave more importance for scholarly pursuit, that is they gave more importance for learning. Literature was given good amount of importance, and not only that, they had a very good scientific the spirit of inquiry, that is bringing more knowledge in the field of science also. And not only that, the one of their important subject was medicine and mathematics. Okay, and many people from India also, they went to Baghdad and they started learning medicine and mathematics. Many students from Arabia, they went to Taxila to learn medical education, particularly to learn medical education. So by the time, Taxila was one of the important popular universities during that time. And the Indian scholars also, and even mathematicians, they came in large numbers to Baghdad, and they started enriching their knowledge in medicine as well as in mathematics. And the Sanskrit books on medicines were translated into Arabic languages also. And in medicine and in surgery, Arab physicians and surgeons, they earned a good amount of reputation. This was during the time of the Abbasid dynasty. Then what happened was that there occurred a disintegration of the Arabs. Disintegration means what? Dividing into small divisions, conflicting with each other. The whole integration means what? Bringing everything together. Disintegration means what? Just getting split up into more number of. Soon after, see, during the time of Abbasid dynasty, the Abbasids empire, who was one of the important ruler, was Harun al-Rashid. Underline this. During his time, the Abbasids empire reached the maximum of its glory. Okay, after the death of this ruler, Emperor Harun al-Rashid, the Arab empire itself started disintegrating, started splitting up into small independent kingdoms. Now, every kingdom wants to show that they are supreme than the other kingdom. So, each caliph, okay, who belonged to that particular kingdom, became more and more powerless. They could not have control over their kingdoms. And the Turks, who were known as the Seljuk Turks, they who had become the Muslims, they succeeded in taking possession of the city of Baghdad. They also defeated the Byzantine Empire army of the Constantinople. Constantinople was one of the place where more of Christian missionaries were there, and they posed so much of big threat to the European states also. The Christian pilgrimage, one of the important cities was the city of Jerusalem. So much of hardships were put on the city of Jerusalem, Constantinople, by the Turks. Okay, and the result was it led to a war between the Christians and the Islamic people. So the next is which was called as Crusades. Crusades means it is a religious war between Christians and Islamism. It is one of the very important landmark in the history itself. Okay, in the history of Europeans and in the history of Arabians, particularly in the Middle East. Okay, you can never have a history without the Crusades. Crusades means what? It is a religious holy war to capture the holy places of Jerusalem by the Christianity, by the Christians. The war between the Christians and the Muslims was called as the Crusades. And next is Crusades and the fall of Seljuk Turks. See, the Seljuk Turks only, they wanted to, they took over the holy place of Jerusalem from the Christianity. So the popes from different parts of the world and the churches, they called all the people, the Christian people of Europe, and they marched towards the holy place of Jerusalem to regain their what is it, holy land. And in that fight, the Seljuk Turks have to lose. The Crusades had a fight against the Seljuk Turks, and who controlled almost all the parts of Jerusalem. So the struggle between the Christianity and Islamism, it continued in 1095. It continued almost for 200 years. Okay, this Crusade war, even you will not believe, the successors of the Islamic religion and the Christianity religion, even the children participated in the crusades. Probably you do not have this here. Okay, so even the small children, they took part because of their religious interest towards their religion. They took part in the crusades. Now the crusades, what happened? No, it did not achieve the desired result at the end of the crusades. Even the war was almost for 200 years, it did not come out with a good result. There were so many reasons for the what is it, what is the reasons for the crusades not ending up with a proper in a proper manner. Jerusalem, it still continued to remain in the hands of the Ottoman for almost 700 years. This continued fighting associated with crusades, it weakened the Seljuk Turks. And one more reason was Mongolians. Okay, the Mongol invasion from the eastern side was one of the cause, and the Christians and Muslims, okay, they started shifting their attention. Instead of giving importance for the crusades, they started giving attention for the Mongols who started attacking them from the eastern side. The Mongolians were led by one of their powerful ruler called as Chinggis Khan. Okay, the destruction of the city of Baghdad was done only by the Mongols. This put an end to the Abbasids empire. So with that, when Chinggis Khan captured, destroyed Baghdad, the whole of the Abbasid empire came to an end. Next is about the impact of crusades. What happened because of the crusades? What is the outcome? See, the crusades, it put an end to the feudal relations. Feudal relations means the king was there on the top. Okay, the nobles were below them, then the barons were there, knights were there, below that the slaves were there. These people who belonged to the noble category, they all went to assist the king with respect to the crusades. So they were, for a very long period of time, they were staying away from their land itself. And many people who went to help the nobles and the kings with respect to the crusade, they did not even come back to the land. As a result, what happened? The peasants who were literally working on the land, these people were called as serfs. Serfs means slaves. These people who were working as slaves, they did not have their nobles to look after their work. So it gave them good advantage for them, because they were able to get them relieved from the bondages. Okay, because they were forced to work in the soil as bonded slaves. And as a result of that, what happened was they started producing more amount of goods. Trade also started developing in the places of Venice, Goa and Pisa. Many important trading centers started, because all these days they were working only as slaves. They were producing the goods, but the benefit was enjoyed only by the king and the noble people. And the Constantinople no longer stayed to be the middleman between the east and the west. The elimination of the powers of the nobles had its influence in strengthening the monarchy in France and England. And one of the noble outcome of the crusades was the popes and the papacy, they lost all their prestige and powers. Okay, because they were not concentrating in the welfare of the people. As a result, the people did not give respect for the popes and for the papacy. Papacy means the duration of a person being in the post of a pope. Okay, so they lost their prestige also. These are the outcomes of crusades. Next is about Mongols and Chinggis Khan. I remember many of you might have heard this name Chinggis Khan. in one of the Genghis Khan is basically these Mongols were nomads people. Nomads mean people who do not have a definite place to live in. Such people were called as nomads, and they were herdsmen rather. Okay, they were herdsmen taking care of the cattle and all. These people, they were very good experts in warfare, and one of their remarkable leader was Genghis Khan. This Genghis Khan, he was in fact a very brilliant military genius rather, and the Mongols hold over the Russia almost for 300 years. They were controlling Russia, and during that time Russia was technologically very much behind from the rest of the European country till the middle of the end of the Middle Ages. Next is about the Ottoman Empire. When the Mongols advanced towards Asia, no, this Ottoman Turk, that is different from the Seljuk Turks. Okay, they ran away from Ottoman and they took refuge under the Seljuks in the Western Asia. But when the Seljuk Turks was weakened, Ottoman extended their power, and in the year 1453, the conquest of Constantinople by Ottoman Turk, okay, they established supremacy over the Balkan Strait, Black Sea, and the Middle East. From some time, Ottoman, they were very strong, and the Christian Europe's were scared of them. They were scared of the Ottoman Turks. Okay, after conquering Egypt, they assumed the title as caliph for them, and they became a major player in the international politics. Okay, when after they captured the place of Constantinople. And when Ottoman Turk captured Constantinople in 1453, they in fact stopped the European countries from reaching the Asiatic countries. Normally, all these years, the Europeans were reaching towards the Asiatic countries only through Ottoman. Through the place of Constantinople. Once Ottoman Turk captured the place of Constantinople, they did not permit the Europeans to come to the Asiatic countries for trading purpose. So they have to invent some other sea route to reach Asiatic countries. Okay. Next is about what sort of state feudalism was there. See, despite they were holding full of religious, powerful religion was there, such as Islamism was there, Christianity was there. People was governed by the feudal relations. You could see on the top you have the king there on the first hierarchical order. Below the king, there were nobles were there. Okay, the king directly contacted only the nobles, okay, who were called as fiefs. Okay, and these these lords, they have to be as vassals to the king. Vassals means whenever the king wanted many military assistance during the time of war, these lords, loyal lords, have to supply them with military troops. Okay, next is below the loyalty lords. Okay, these loyalty lords, they supplied military aid to the king during the time of wars and all. And in fact, okay, they provided food for the next below the lords you had the knights. Okay, the knights were there, and the knights, they took homage with the lords, and the lords only, the loyal lords only, they provided food, okay, and protection and shelter to the knights. Okay, knights were the people who were to support by giving the vassals to the lords. The lords in turn gave it to the king, and below the knights were the poor peasants. They were called as serfs. Serfs means slaves. Okay, these people were fed only by the knights, and the land was totally these serfs, they worked on the farmlands, and the productivity was given to the knights, and in turn the knights gave protection to the peasants. And these peasants who are working on the land, they have to pay rent. Okay, they were almost working like slaves only. Okay, they were at the bottom of the hierarchical level. Okay, and in fact whatever produce was produced by them, they have to return back to their knights also. And the knights, they only with that money, they will in return give them protection and shelter to the serfs. It was almost like a slavery work, okay, which was not liked by the serfs who were at the bottom level of the hierarchical order. And when you see the bishops, abbots, cardinals, all those people were the priests next to the pope. Okay, Pope, Cardinal, they were at the top. The bishops, all these people belonged to the higher religious, belonged to the category of religious heads and all. And the abbots, that is the chief among the Christian priests, and the Christians came under this socio-political structure. The nobility and the clergy people did not do any of the physical work. They were enjoying a very royal life, okay, getting attached to the king and the bishops and all. But who were literally burdened? It was only the serfs who were at the bottom level. They were burdened to produce the food which was required for all the people, okay, and the burden of producing the goods fell on the peasants and the artisans only. Next is about the church. The church, there was the new elements were included in the Christian theology. Theology means studying about religion is theology. They included so much of new elements in the Christianity, in the theology, and they were the theory of priesthood and the theory of sacrament. If a person wants to become the priest, they have to follow the theories of priesthood, and they have to undertake, to all the Christians should undertake the sacraments. These two elements increased the power of the clergy, because every Christian should undertake up 7 sacraments. Okay, these 7 sacraments were baptism, penance, anointing, the sick, okay, and assurance, that is last supper. All these were called as sacraments. And suppose if any person, to do the sacraments, the priest, they charge huge amount of money from the poor people. This was not liked by the common man in the Christian community. And later on, the 7th sacrament, it was reduced to 4 sacraments. All these are nothing but religious rituals. Okay, and suppose if any person is not obeying, means they were excommunicated. Okay, excommunication means depriving a person from all the privileges, okay, of a Christian. That is, you no longer you are taken as a Christian. We take all the privileges which are associated to the religion of Christian, if he is not cooperating with the norms which is laid by the nobles and the priest. Suppose he was denied all the rites of sacraments. Okay, to become a Christian, they have to do the sacraments. All those sacraments were not given for the person who were, okay, raising their voice against the popes, against the churches, popes and the churches. This was called as excommunication. Next terminology is interdict. Interdict, it was denying the benefits of religion to the ruler's subject. Okay, intended to kindle the resentment against them. So the king's subject, who all belonged to who all were coming below that particular ruler, if the benefits of the religion was not given to them, it was called as interdict. Okay, it was intended to what? Kindle the resentment. It was basically done to, resentment means opposing. Okay, to show that I do not like, okay, the whatever you are doing, I do not like. Okay, showing their resentment. So that was called as interdict. So the growth of church in the latter middle, it was accompanied by the rise of ambitious leaders. Many leaders, they started rising. The conflict between the German Emperor Henry IV and Pope Gregory VII, the Pope, by means of interdict, succeeded in making the emperor to abdicate the throne. So they had so much of religious rituals. These rituals gained so much of importance for the Christianity region, and Pope started becoming the religious head of Christianity all throughout the world. By means of interdict, Pope Innocent III forced King John to recognize England and Ireland as fiefs of the papacy. Okay, fiefs means that is bringing under the control of the Pope. Okay, so England and Ireland, it came under the control of King John. Many pious Christians now began to resent Pope's intrusion into the state's affair. Now the Pope started interfering in the political affairs of the countries also. This was not liked by many of the Christians. Now in the next lesson, probably we'll be learning about the Middle East state and society in medieval India. It is quite an interesting lesson. Okay. With this, I finish today's class, children. Regarding the question answers, I shall give it in the WhatsApp group. Okay. You can mark the answers and write it in your classwork notebook. Okay. Thank you, children. Have a good day.